drawing faces can be really challenging. And one of the major reasons for this is because we are so used to looking at people. We sort of evolved in such a way to look for symmetry and attractiveness. And this means that when you're drawing, you can be extremely critical of minor flaws when drawing faces. So when I was taught to draw faces, the first step we did was to think of the skull. And if you can practice drawing skulls a lot, you'll learn the proportions of the head without worrying about the superficial features. So when there's no eyeballs, lips, and noses to look at, all of a sudden it seems more like a still life and less like a face. But all the while you're learning the general relationships of how far apart are the eyes, where's the nose in relation to the jawbone. So in this video I'm going to show you some digital life drawing, working with skulls, but you could do this with a pencil and paper. In fact, it might even be easier to take the computer out of the equation for this simple exercise. And you might notice that I've set up Photoshop a little bit differently this time, and I've got my web browser on the left half of the screen. Well, this is a really interesting website. It's called onlinelifedrawing.com, and they've got little turntables. So you see here, I can actually rotate the skull and see it from different angles. And when trying to learn the three-dimensional quality of something, this is really pretty priceless. The owners of this website gave me an account to see if it was something that you guys would be interested in. And in looking at it, this was the first thing that jumped out as really cool. That you don't have sort of flat orthographic photos. Instead, you have the ability to really manipulate these objects. It's pretty cool. In order to fit this all on one screen for the recording, I'm going to actually hide most of the interface and draw almost like I was drawing on paper. So here you can see my layers and my navigator. Well, I'm going to hide them for the time being. Now take a look at the way I've set up my drawing here. This could be paper for you or Photoshop, either way. I've drawn 3 parallel lines. What these do is give me a general guide for the features on the skull. And if I draw multiple ones on the same page, as you can see here, the features sort of line up. And this will help you keep your proportions consistent as you work. And actually, it makes each successive drawing a bit easier because you can use the others as a bit of an anchor. So I'll make a new layer, pick a view of this skull. I think I want to do sort of a profile here. And I'm going to start drawing. Now, because what we're talking about is constructive anatomy, I'm going to start very simple and then flesh it out with extra complexity as I go. So at its most basic, a skull is essentially a big sphere with sort of a box coming out of the bottom. And you can see here where the center line is about where the ridge of the nose and the eye cavities go. And so from here, I'm just going to look at the major shapes and major lines on this skull. And it can be kind of nice using this website to actually take a look at it in 3/4 and see how that lines up with the drawing you're doing. So I'll put it back to my profile here. And I'm not trying to make a beautiful drawing. What I'm trying to get a sense for is the relationship of these shapes on the 3D form. And if you do a lot of these, you'll find that drawing actual faces, either from photo reference or from your imagination, is much easier. Because all these landmarks that are here on a skull are on the face as well. They're just hidden under muscle and flesh. But drawing a lot of skulls will really make the face make more sense. And since likeness is so difficult, I find that this is really nice to think of it as geometric shapes instead of as a person. And how much detail you want to put into these drawings is really up to you. I'm using this personally as a tool to just work on the proportions. So all the fine-tuning details aren't that important for me. I'm not trying to draw a photorealistic skull. Really more of a mental exercise. So maybe I could call this one done. So then I would move my paper over, change the angle of the face, start again. And speed is not really important here. What I'm trying to do is actively figure out where these shapes go in space. So if you're having trouble drawing faces, especially ones from your imagination, try starting with skulls. 25 or 30 skulls like this, and your faces will look better. I guarantee it. And if you like the look of this website, give it a look. It's onlinelifedrawing.com. The thing is, they've got a monthly fee. So if it's something you're interested in, I was talking to the owners, and they said that they'd be happy to give sort of a Control Paint discount. So take a look and let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys like, because we can work something out with them. Seems to be a really cool resource, and I've not seen anything else like it. And as usual, thanks for watching.